Hello everyone and welcome to my channel. My name is Angela and this is the art of becoming an artist. This last week I've been focusing on drawing the human body from different perspectives. So here you can see I practiced just drawing the main figure and then the perspective from a lower angle. And I mean, look at those legs. Anyway, if you haven't seen one of my videos before, just know that I am not a teacher but a learner. Most videos are professionals telling you how they got where they are, and I wanted to share the journey from a mid-level artist stage and share what I learn along the way, what I find to be helpful and not, and what tips and tricks simplified the process for me. When drawing the body from different perspectives, there's a lot that you have to be aware of. For instance, the vanishing points, which are points on the horizon where parallel lines seem to converge. There's foreshortening, which create the illusion of depth. You got to break the body into simple shapes to kind of help you figure it out a little bit better. There's a lot to be aware of, including, of course, the relationships between the different body parts. Does the shoulder come up a little higher in relation to the head than it typically would? Things like that. In the previous video, I mentioned that typically a body is 8 heads long, but you can see here that that isn't always the same when you look at things from a different perspective. Here you can see on the model where it's top down that there's only 2.5 heads of height because the head is larger from this higher perspective. It's going to take a lot of practice, and speaking of practice, Pinterest is going to be the best reference library that you can find. If you look up something, for instance, like perspective poses, and you go through the different poses, you can pick the ones you want to practice. And there's all kinds of different options available here. You can scroll through and see what fits your preferences and then work on practicing those. So I just selected a few, I added them to a library, and then I moved them over to Procreate, where I imported them and then practiced working on drawing them, paying attention to the relations between the different parts of the body. For instance, does the foot look significantly larger than the rest of the body? Is the arm smaller than you would typically see it? Where does it fall in relation to the different body parts? Then I moved on to practicing a model that I found more inspiring and giving it a little bit more effort and time. Now keep in mind, I did not go into this trying to make the perfect drawing. I know that in the end, the proportions are a little funky just because I didn't straighten out my lines or go into too much detail, but it did give me a good idea of what can happen if I use more of these dynamic poses from different perspectives. Another quick tip that I learned is that if you draw a line to represent the top of the head to the bottom of the feet, and then you use that on a regular front-facing upright character, then you create another one next to them where the character is seen from a different perspective. You can use that head-to-toe line from the original character to compare to the other and see how that line changes. If somebody is seen from the top down, the full height from the head to the feet is going to be a lot shorter because of the perspective. Or if you're looking at someone from below and you're looking up at them, the height from the feet to the head might be a lot longer. So those are just some references that can be used. They're super helpful to understand how to do the perspective and how that relationship works. There is so much to take into account, such as the angles of the shoulders, the chest, the hips, the knees, where do they lie in relation to each other, vanishing points, foreshortening, distortion, relationships. There's so much, but once you piece everything together, the final result is so satisfying. The important thing when it comes to drawing people from perspective is that practice. To use those Pinterest references or find another site that you prefer where you can find references of different poses. There's also a website called Line of Action that you can go on and look up different reference images that may be helpful, but the practice is the most important part. You're looking at someone from below. You can actually see the bottom of their chin, so you want to make sure to mark that down. If you're looking at someone top down, you might not see a neck at all. Those things are going to be important so that when you draw a character, the image makes sense to the viewer. If there are any other practices that you'd like to see me focus on or think that I should work on next, leave your suggestions in the comments below. I'd love to have the opportunity to work on things that you think are important or things that you think that you might need help on, and I can share my helpful ideas, tips, tricks, suggestions that I can find find along the way as I practice. Thank you for joining me. I'm so happy to have you here with me. I appreciate you bearing with me as I get used to editing videos for the first time and trying not to cringe at the sound of my own voice as I record audio. Intend to make better and better videos as time goes on. Don't forget to subscribe, hit the like button, and comment below. I'd love to hear from you all, and I appreciate you spending this time with me. Thanks. Bye.